Have you ever wondered what makes a story just okay versus one that's truly great? Well, today we're going to find out by going on a climb, a story climb. So, seriously, what is it that makes a story unforgettable for you? The kind that just sticks in your head. Is it how it starts, how it ends? What's that secret sauce that gets you hooked and keeps you on the edge of your seat? Well, you might be surprised to hear this, but it's all in the middle. Yep, that part we sometimes think of as just getting through. That's where the real magic happens. The build-up, the struggle, the climb. It's kind of like life, right? You can't just skip from the start to the finish. The middle is what makes the whole journey worth it. Okay, so let's talk about that climb. I want you to picture every great story like it's a mountain. To get that incredible view from the top, you gotta put in the work, right? You have to make the climb. And that whole first part of the journey, that uphill push, that's what we call the rising action. And this climb is where things get really interesting. It's where you see the challenges start to pop up. The main characters have to dig deep and get stronger. And as a reader, you can literally feel the tension building with every single step they take. All right, that's the theory, but let's see what this looks like in the real world. We're going to look at an example of this climb. Okay, so check this out. At the beginning, our singer is nervous, right? Shaking hands, that's the starting point. Then comes the climb, the rising action. The voice cracks. Ugh, you can feel the cringe, can't you? That's the challenge, that's the struggle. But from that moment, the only way is up, toward that incredible peak. And so, after all that climbing, all that effort, all that tension building up, we've finally made it. We are at the very top of our story mountain. We have reached the climax. Now, the climax isn't just the most exciting part. It's so much more than that. It's the big turning point. It's that one single moment where everything changes. And all that hard work from the rising action, it finally pays off. So, think back to our singer. What's the climax? It's that one perfect high note. After the shaking hands, the cracked voice, the deep breath, boom. That's the breakthrough. That is the reward for the entire climb. Okay, so you get the idea, right? You've got the terms, you've seen an example. Now it's your turn to climb. We're going to analyze a little story together, and let's see if you can spot the rising action and the climax. Okay, listen to this one. It started to rain just as we reached the top of the trail. My brother slipped on a rock, and I had to grab his arm, fast. For a second, we both just froze. You okay? I asked. He nodded, but man, my heart was pounding. All right, first question for you. What's the problem here? What kicks off this whole little drama? Well, first it's the rain, right? That sets the mood. But the real problem is the brother slipping. That's the immediate danger. Okay, next. Where does the tension really start to rise? Where's that rising action? It's in those details, isn't it? I had to grab his arm fast. And then that feeling, my heart was pounding. You can feel the stakes just shoot up in that moment. And now for the big one. What line is the climax? The absolute peak. It's that tiny little sentence, "For a second we both froze." See that? Everything stops. All the action, all the fear, it's all packed into that one frozen moment. That's it. That's our climax. So this is all cool for analyzing stories, but why does it really matter? What's the view from the top? Well, it's because this whole story climb thing, it isn't just for books. It's a pattern we see in our own lives, and when you start to recognize it, you can find a whole lot more purpose in your own journey. And this idea actually connects to something way deeper. There's a verse in Psalm 107 that says, "Let the redeemed tell their story." It's this incredible idea that our stories, especially the parts with the struggle, the climb, are meant to be told, because that's where the real meaning is hidden. And here's a great example of this, a little fun fact for you. Think about Joseph's story from the Bible. The rising action was intense. We're talking years of being sold into slavery, thrown in prison. But then comes the climax. He reveals who he is to the very brothers who betrayed him. And in that moment, you see how every single struggle was actually part of a much bigger, incredible plan. So here's the truth I really want you to remember from all this. God often works in the middle. That part of the story that feels like the problem is just getting bigger and bigger, that's not just a waiting game. He's preparing your breakthrough. The climb might feel hard, but it means you're getting closer to the peak.
All right, let's bring it all home with the Smart Heart conclusion. The big takeaway from our story climb today is this: it's about learning to see this pattern, the climb and the peak, not just in stories, but in our own lives, and finding the purpose in every single step of the journey.
Because here at HeroesMart Academy, this is what we believe. Education without a moral compass, it can actually do more harm than good. Being truly smart isn't just about knowing stuff. It's about making good choices, especially during the hard parts of the climb. And having that spiritual perspective, well, that's what brings you peace, even when things get tense. It all comes down to this: learning and faith, they absolutely belong together. That's the real view from the top.